Well, hello there.
Booyah.
Booyah, he says.
Boo to the ya.
Boo to the ya.
Boo to the ya. I'm pretty sure that's what they're saying these days.
That's the kids right there. You've got your thumb on the pulse of America's youth.
I don't know whose kids.
Some kids, certainly kids. Somewhere.
Well, my dad's kids, I guess, are saying it. At
least
one of them.
Yeah. the hippest of the hip.
I make him so proud. That's my boy. I can hear him saying it right now.
Every Father's Day, he goes, I succeeded.
He says, that's my boy. Booyah.
Boo to the ya.
Yeah, that's what it is. I already screwed it up. Good job. And now it's over. Now I'm disowned again. I feel like I had this moment with Henry tonight.
Oh yeah? The proud father moment?
Oh no. The frustrated son moment. No, like we were at dinner. As most families do, gathering around the dinner table, eating. What were we eating? It's some kind of like it's like African peanut couscous concoction thing. It's really good. Anyway, it's from the Moosewood cookbook, for those of you who are interested.
Moosewood.
We don't have an affiliate link, although we should.
We will. I'll work on the Moosewood affiliate link.
Yeah. Moosewood, I believe, I don't know if it's still around,
but
it was
the Moosewood.
It's a vegetarian, or was a vegetarian restaurant up in New York somewhere, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, I digress.
Somewhere Henry where woods and moose are common.
Correct. Henry was not having any of that. He was having, chicken tenders. But don't worry, I'm sure that they were like hormone-free, free-range chicken breast tenders or something. I don't know. In any event, we were sitting there having this table, as most families do. They're having this dinner conversation, and as most of these conversations go, we ended up talking about moles.
Usual, yeah.
Yeah, and so then I said, "Oh, I know about moles." Like,
are we talking animal or skin feature?
Neither. We're talking about atomic weight.
I got you. Mole as in chemistry.
It's not even a weight. It's a measurement. It's a measurement. Right.
Moles, molar.
Not a measure of energy. I went too far. I was like, it's been a long time. I said,
yeah.
I said, what's like a measure of energy? He was like, no, Dad, the last time you said that, I said it's just a measure. I'm like, I always take it too far. I felt like such a disappointment at that moment.
Oh.
Like, because at that time, he then gives me the calculation, something to the power of something.
Avogadro's number.
He knows the numbers, whatever. Yeah. And I looked at him in the eyes and I said, Henry, I'm not going to remember that.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't even remember to stop at measurement. I'm not going to remember that.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to try to remember that. And then it occurred to me, oh no. I've reached that point in my life where I am consciously aware of the fact that I'm not even going to make an attempt to know something.
Uh-oh.
Like...
The death of curiosity?
No. I'm super curious. I'm just not... Look, it's a struggle. The struggle is real in terms of me remembering anything.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Other than things that, who knows why, like Blossom or,
Copacabana.
Gavin McLeod, or but it just occurred to me, as I'm saying this to you, that's not. I feel like that's also the moment where you realize, I've crossed over to not that yet. We're getting I hope that is. John Edward. There. But yeah, when you get to this point, you're like, that when people say, I know this is like an overused saying, but I forget who actually said it first. so I'll just take credit for it. That this is not the end, nor is it the beginning of the end, but it is
the end of the beginning.
End of the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, people say that a lot, right? That's how I feel like.
What movie it is that closes with that?
So many.
One
of the Kingsmen.
One
of the Kingsman movies.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I'm thinking of more like. Oh man, it's
probably
like
the Avengers or something.
Fantasy. No, it's way. The one I'm thinking of anyway is way old, not way old, like 50s, but like 80s certainly.
Apologies to anybody in their 50s or 60s right now, because Mark is like not way old, not in their 50s, not in the 50s.
Well, if they're in their 50s, then they don't remember the 50s.
That's true. Okay.
So I feel okay. Now, if they're in their 60s, well, screw them.
Apologies. No, that you just.
I do not apologize for that. They are old, and they should start coming to terms with this.
You're not. Yeah, but
I certainly am.
Henry the other night says to me, he's explaining bouldering. Bouldering, which apparently is like rock climbing without belaying. Because he was trying to sell it to me like, Dad, you don't understand. I know that you have trust issues, and that the reason you don't like to rock climb most of the time is because you don't trust the person who's belaying, which is true. There's only there's very few people. Like I would trust you, Marcus.
Yeah, I appreciate that
for sure.
I would belay the hell out of you.
I can count the people. I can count them on one hand. I think people in my life who I would trust to belay me. You. I think our my friend Kenneth, local guy.
Mm-hmm.
Kim, my friend Kim in Colorado, I would trust her.
Mm-hmm.
I'd also trust her.
Surely.
Not yet.
Just a physical strength kind of thing, maybe? Or do you think he'd be up there playing Super Auto Pets and you'd just fall off?
I just don't know. That would be my problem. But I think maybe. We'll see. A little footnote next to Henry.
We'll see, kid.
He's not listening, so it doesn't matter. But I think
he isn't all about his father's podcast.
Quite the opposite, as just shocking.
Go figure.
Right? But he was telling me on bouldering and how you don't have to worry about the belaying because it's what I was like free fall. He's like,
is it free climbing or?
It's free climbing, but it's lower to the ground. Like you're not. And he's describing this to me, and the visual and based on the way he's describing to me, it sounds like so I could be up like 15 feet. And he's like, yeah, but it's all like cushion padded. I said, Henry, even if I knowingly jump from the height of like 10 feet, all sorts of bad things are going to happen from that. Like breaking, spraining, bruising.
Yeah. And it's almost like at that height, the padding makes it worse because if you land on your feet, it's
going to twist your ankle.
It's
right,
unsteady.
I don't know.
Ground.
What am I saying? I'm not a gymnast.
It's like better for you to land on solid ground so you can.
That's what the Russians say to their gymnastics teams. Like, guys, no, you don't need padding.
Right.
No padding.
Right.
Padding's for losers.
Just take these drugs.
Yes.
But,
we fix it.
Rip
don't
from
worry.
the headlines, folks.
We'll fix it. Yeah. Don't. Whew, that's a little too close for comfort right now.
Come get your current events commentary.
A little too close for comfort right now with the situation there. Yeah. As I'm preparing to file for my Russian visa.
Are you?
For visit? Yeah, I'm like, maybe it's not going to work out. I don't know.
You're with the doping.
No, not for that purpose. For visiting. As part of the cruise this summer. I'm supposed to go to St. Petersburg.
Oh, that's right. You are.
And I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean.
Now that you've talked about that on this show.
No, now that I don't, now that
now that the thing where they're almost going into the other place.
Well, they are going into the
I
other place. It's just they've just defined as the other place being something else. Like It's
Yeah,
like
which
we
is
just
great.
moved. You don't understand. Like,
I'd love to redefine stuff like that too.
well, you remember there was a certain person who had a weather map that they kind of extended.
Right, with the Sharpie.
It's like that. It's like that. No. See, it's the boundaries just change here.
Yeah, this turns out to be West Russia.
You know what they say? The victors get to write the history, man. So
Yeah.
if you get away with it and you can do it, then who am I to
Yeah,
who
but
am I
the
to
rest
question
of us
it?
see
Really,
what's going on, though, and we'll go
I know,
write
but
our
does it
history
matter?
books, too.
doesn't matter.
I don't know. We're gonna find out.
When they burn your books, they'll be all.
Yeah, true.
Anyway, that's a fun topic. That's a fun topic.
Yeah.
Wait, there was something else I was going to... Oh, I know what I was going to bring up. I don't know. What do you have? I got to shut... I'm going to shut up for a second.
Well,
I'm stirring my tea.
Speaking of ripped from the headlines, not like national headlines or anything like that, but I mean right out of my my text messaging coming in while I'm waiting for you to show up.
I didn't send anything, by the way, folks.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Jason. I'm waiting on Jason. Jason says he's setting up, and after Jason says he's setting up, I get from my sister, who is an avid listener of the show, a series of photographs depicting a number of fire trucks outside of our father and my stepmother's, her mother's house. And a well-charred oven with lots of smoke damage and whatnot. And apparently...
Wait, the smoke damage, what, like is it all contained to the oven? Or is I can't see it terribly well from a big picture perspective of the entire kitchen, but she did say that the flames went up past the hood. Oh God!
Over the oven
from inside the oven.
Yeah. So,
oh God!
What happened?
God!
They had a cake of some kind. It's difficult to identify it now, but they had a cake of some kind on like one of those plastic cutting boards. It's kind of white plastic ones. And,
oh no!
And it had like a metal bowl over it, but my stepmother was worried that the dogs were going to get it, so while she's doing some stuff, she throws it in the oven to keep them away. Right, she put it in the oven and to keep the dogs away from it. Now my father comes in, not knowing this is in the oven, and I don't know how long it's been in there, but he wants to start dinner, and so he starts preheating the oven.
What's he doing preheating? Does he cook?
Yeah, he's the one that cooks the most.
What is she doing sticking that in the oven then? She's like,
don't look at me. I don't know. All I know is that's where it went. And
it's so much worse than Emily sticking the smoke detector in the sweater drawer.
Yeah, but oddly related, isn't it?
But it is a little. Yeah, it is a little. There's a common thread, and we're gonna tug on that thread.
See what we can't unravel here.
Oh boy.
But my sister sent me a thing that said said weirdly enough the metal ball on top of the cake actually kept it moist. So it's charred to hell, but also is nice and fluffy and moist.
Does that mean she cut it? Like, did she go back and cut the cake?
She can feel it or whatever. But yeah, and it said nobody's hurt. Nobody is. My nephew is a bit scared, and the dog's kind of freaked out. But
you think?
Yeah, but that was it.
So how did they put it out?
My father almost lost some eyebrows, but
how did they put it out?
Well, that's where the fire trucks come in.
No, so the fire department actually put it out. They didn't just respond because a lot of times the first thing,
because
in these situations where you have multiple people there, I mean, you're saying you point at the person, you say you call the fire department,
right,
and then someone else like you go and get the little fire extinguisher thing that you're supposed to use, and you use that, or a blanket. Sometimes people have fire blankets. In this situation, the thing is the fire. When did they realize? I have so many questions. When did they realize that the fire? You're just gonna have to speculate. When did they? We'll have to bring your sister alive or something. Because when did they realize that the fire was like?
It would have to be that smoke started coming out of the oven,
right?
And probably set off an alarm unless somebody was standing in the kitchen. Because if you're not looking at it, like a lot of times I'll turn it on to preheat, then I'll go sit down on the couch and wait because it's going to take whatever, 10 minutes or whatever to get up to the temperature. So unless they were standing in there and saw the smoke coming out, it's possible that it wasn't until the smoke alarm went off before they realized that there was a problem. And even then, it might be confusing. Like, I'm not sure where that might be coming from. I can see that being a point of confusion if the smoke alarm's going off and you're like, whoa, what could possibly be burning? Even if you're the one that preheated the oven, I'm sure that's not the first thing that comes to your mind is, there must be flammable material in the oven. There never has been before, but there it is now. Yeah, and just looking at, and it is possible that they were able to put it out with a fire extinguisher before the fire people got there. The look
you don't
of
see
the
any
oven.
signs of that, or
Well, the look of the oven does seem like there is perhaps flame.
I really hope you're showing
retardant.
I really hope you're showing pictures of this on YouTube. Okay, you better get permission. But.
I'll see if everybody involved is okay with this. But it does look like
described it in great detail.
Some kind of flame retardant material has been sprayed into the oven, or it's a particularly sooty cake.
Because unless the fire department lives real close. Now, I happen to have
there is
a fire
a very
department
close fire house to their house.
Fire spreads real fast.
Oh yeah.
So,
but then an oven though is kind of built to
contain fire.
Yeah, to withstand temperatures.
It's quite the oxymoron. Like, why but this happens, because it can't contain they get hot enough to clean themselves, theoretically, but they can't contain fire.
It's going to need to get really hot to clean this.
Yeah, they may be in the market for a new oven.
Yeah, that's probably a foregone conclusion, which is a shame because it's a really good oven. It's got the nice gas burners on it. And,
yeah, well, the next one will be nice too. Maybe nicer.
Yeah, hopefully. Maybe a little. Maybe fire insurance will cover this.
Well, that's a good question. What does insurance? Maybe we shouldn't get into. Now that we've mentioned who,
it was a completely not anyone's fault thing happened.
This I remember. Did we talk about something like this at some point, or where there was this question of insurance and how if you it wasn't us. It was maybe it was on TV. You can believe anything you see on TV.
It's true.
It was something about if you. There's a difference between negligence and arson, of course, right? So if you this would be negligence. So this would be something that you would think an insurance would cover. Now, if somebody say I don't know, somebody did that on purpose because they were trying to act out of spite or something. I don't know. That may be a different story, but cake spite.
Cake spite.
Yeah, it's a thing.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, I guarantee there's so many people in the world. I absolutely in my heart know that somewhere in the world, probably on numerous occasions in the past year alone, cakes have been involved in some sort of
spiteful act.
Oh yeah.
I think
whether it's
probably
decorations.
That's kind of what I was thinking. That probably
poisoning.
It manifests itself most commonly in words written on the cake in icing.
Or deliberate, I'm going to use this ingredient that I know they would otherwise hate.
Or it might cause embarrassing
allergic reaction
physiological
or X-lax kind of things.
Right, that's kind of what I was thinking there.
Yeah, I think cake spite's real. I think, wow, you could write a thesis probably on cake spite.
Cake spite. Yeah, that's
not to be confused with the actress Kate Spite.
Right. Definitely not to be confused with her. Although if she starred in a movie about cake spite, that would be fantastic.
Kate Spite and Cake Spite.
I'm thinking
Spike Lee production.
Cake Spite would be a really good punk album.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad no one's hurt. I assume no one's hurt. I assume the dogs are okay.
Dogs appear to be okay. the house probably does not smell amazing.
Oh, the house is going to be terrible for the next few days, I think.
Yeah, there's going to be some
because it's plastic,
fumigation going on.
Plastic and burnt
that's
stove and burnt.
I mean, burnt cake all day long, but that plastic,
burnt pride.
Definitely that. But that's my father, so I mean, he's used to it.
So how are they? What's their relationship like? Do they listen? They don't listen, do they?
Do they listen?
Sister listens.
Occasionally, they listened at the beginning. Okay. I think they've lost interest. My sister continues to listen,
just like me.
Right.
So, at what point did you lose interest? I don't know. Probably somewhere around episode 57.
Yeah, I don't even know they got that far. I think maybe in the 20s.
I was talking about me. I don't know about them.
Oh, you?
So
you checked out around 60. Yeah,
noticeably checked out.
Right, true. It was a long time coming.
So who will there be some blame involved here?
Oh, I've no doubt.
Okay.
Yeah, and I imagine it's all pointed at my father.
Oh, unidirectional.
Oh, no, and my father probably has taken the opportunity to lecture everyone within earshot about what you do and do not put in the oven. I can hear it, like I can hear him say it right now.
if you, it's like those situations. I'm going to try to make this not so tragic. You have a bonsai tree that you're moving, for example, and you're carrying it out to the car to put it in the trunk or something, and you think, oh, I have another bag I got to get to put into the trunk, and so you go and you set the bonsai tree down behind the car to go in and get the other bag, and then in the meantime, your significant other comes out and goes around the front of the car, gets in, starts the car, and then proceeds to back out, because maybe they're just getting in position to make it easier for you or something.
Yeah.
But then they run over the bonsai tree.
Right.
Whose fault is that at that point? Right? Like, is it the fault of the person driving because they didn't check to see that there wasn't something behind the car? Oh, God, I just thought of a story.
There are whole courses on torts that are exactly this kind of, and then clown comes by.
It's reasonable person standard. I know, but in this case, it's like the proximate cause here would be. I mean, I think the person who set the bonsai down behind the car would be, I think, legally speaking, the negligent party. I don't think it would be the person who backed out.
Perhaps what we're talking about.
Although now we have the cameras now.
A motor vehicle and someone who is licensed to drive that motor vehicle, what responsibility do they have? Right, exactly. Could easily have been another object that was there that was not placed there by somebody else through negligence. Could have been there's turtle. A lot of debate that I think can be had there. I mean, we both know many lawyers, but I don't know. I think that in the situation in the bonsai reverse disaster, in both cases, regardless of the law and what can be argued in court, it really is both and nobody that are sort of at fault. At no point did either person engage in an act that was specifically negligent exactly.
It's just unfortunate.
Right, exactly. Right. And I told, like, when she told me what had happened, I responded with, "Oh no, the perfect storm." Because both
people are being responsible.
Right. I mean, both people acted in such a fashion that they had goals that were altruistic. I do not want dogs to ruin this wonderful cake here.
Wait, I want to keep it moist. Whose birthday is it? Whose cake? Was it a birthday cake?
No, not as far as I know, anyway.
Who made the cake?
That is information I have not received. I can't even. She sent me a picture of the cake in its current state, not in its before state.
I cannot identify. You need a before picture. please.
I cannot identify this cake. This is,
We have important questions like
it is
what kind of cake
segmented
was
in
it?
some
And
way.
who was it intended for, and who baked it, and can I have a piece?
Yeah, and then my father, enters into a situation wanting
He's preheating
to
the
cook
oven.
a meal for his family and preheating
Yes.
the oven as one does. So yeah, I think that it was just an unfortunate coincidence that these two things happened right next to each other, and it's a shame. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, unfortunate coincidences end up sometimes with the fire department being called. So
Yeah. I had a 2014. The year was 2014.
Wayback Machine.
It was in California. We had just moved to California, and it was I think a Saturday or Sunday, and it was literally the first in-person meeting I was having with my new business partners.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They came over to our house for dinner. We ordered out, but I think we had to go pick it up maybe or something. Amateur move. I don't know what we were thinking. So because, I'm meeting with the partner, Michelle's going to run out and pick it up. So let's say it's like Chinese food or something. So she's going to run out and get the Chinese food. She leaves. About 30 seconds later, she comes in, like kind of ashen looking, like she still saw a ghost. She says, "We have a problem." And she says it to me and so I said, she's saying it to me. Like, I think I'm remembering this correctly now. Like, this part becomes a blur, how she conveys the information. But the long story short is that I have to ask my partners to come outside because she has backed into their vehicle.
Oh no.
Yeah. So here's the thing. We have the house we had. Actually, it was a 3-car garage. It was one of those things. Was like, you're not using that other. That's just a joke. Like
right,
it's really a 2-car garage, right? Mm-hmm. Unless you have like a little 3-wheeler or something.
Right. Did each one have its own?
So there was like a big door for the two. There was a big door for the two, and then there's like a little door right for the fake side, and then the clown car side. So she and I would park in the garage next to each other, and she had at that point the minivan, and so in normal times she would, open the garage door and she'd back out of the drive, out of the garage and then out of the driveway, and then of course look before you get to the street, the sidewalk, and then. Well, one of my partners had parked their vehicle kind of in the middle of the driveway. So instead of parking it behind like the little clown car side to the left, the far left, he parked it not quite right behind, it wasn't like in the middle of the 2-car. It was kind of in the middle of the driveway. So when if you kind of looked over your right shoulder, you actually wouldn't have seen the vehicle. It's in a blind spot. Now, if she had used the camera, I don't remember whether the minivan had cameras or not. I don't think it did.
And how sloped was the driveway?
Just a.
Because I can see
slope.
If you're in the garage, you're level. And if the driveway is sloped
not dramatic.
enough,
It's not a dramatic slope. If
you might not see, because the minivan is pretty long, and you may not see through the back, glass.
No, minivans are because they're tinted. They're tinted. It's night. Yeah. It's all the stuff.
Oh, it's nighttime too. Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, it was nighttime too. Yeah, I think it was. Let's just say it was.
Okay, good. This providing some cover for Michelle here.
Yeah. And
it was storming. It's San Francisco. It was foggy.
And I know,
it was very foggy.
I know the look that I had on my face had to be something very similar to the look my grandfather had on his face when I popped that balloon.
Oh. What are we talking about?
You remember that? Yeah, that's like when I had the bandage wrapped around my finger and I'm on the stage and he ties the balloon and he hands me the balloon and pop. off the bandage, and he looks at me like, "You son of a biscuit." Yeah. I know you had a near-death experience this morning, but you are about to have another near-death experience. Just put your neck over here in this guillotine. Yeah.
So a good way to start things off with your new business partner.
I was like, oh, man. Anyway, everything all got fixed. It was fine.
Good. That's cool.
Yeah, that was interesting. But I do think there are things that happen that are just, well, I mean, that sucks.
Yeah. I mean, good, and what can you do? I mean, as long as everybody's okay, what the heck?
Yeah. But the instinct is like, I am so hypocritical when it comes to this kind of stuff. Like I am.
It surprises no one.
I'm trying to get
post
better,
on the
Marcus.
Facebook group if you're surprised.
I'm so trying to get better. I'm trying. It's hard. I need to meditate more. When I have a regular meditation routine, regimen, whatever, it actually, if I do it for like a month or longer, and that's every day, 10 minutes ish every day for like a month, it actually does dial down that lizard brain like like instantaneous, like I think, because what happens
response kind of thing.
I still have the feeling, but I have the ability to like intervene and be like, wait a second, what is that? Oh, you're upset. Oh, I see you're upset. Why are you feeling that way? That's just all it takes. That a little bit allows you to then be like, okay, I got perspective. Right? Yeah. Without that, you hear the thing, you see the thing, experience the thing, and I'm like, okay, who's going to die? But when it happens to me, I come up with all sorts of excuses. For instance, I'm always getting on Michelle and Henry for being like they drop things a lot. We just had a jar of spaghetti sauce break today while I was in a meeting, and I heard this clank, clank. I was like, oh no!
You get on their case about that stuff.
I worry about it's legit. Like I worry about the dog stepping on glass. I worry about
Well, of course, but I mean,
I walk around in slippers. Not, I'm not an idiot. I live in a house. I live in, like wherever I am. I'm surrounded by people who drop glasses. Anyway, it's not anyone's. It's like in this case, it's like something came rolling off a shelf and it happened, and Michelle tried to save it, and it instead of saving, how that works. You go blump blump blump, and then it goes. Anyway, but it just seems to happen a lot to them. Henry, I had to take Henry to urgent care. Remember I told you the story. I had to take him to urgent care because he slid his wrist off a glass that bounced on the floor, off the floor. Okay, so the other day, literally it might have been last night before last, maybe, I don't know. I'm on the sofa. We were watching a program of some sort. Mm-hmm. I had my, it's like my new favorite thing to do that makes me feel like, I'm not really drinking, except on the cruise, of course, but otherwise in real life, I'm not really
cruise is international waters. It doesn't count.
It doesn't count. It's take taxes. Calories apparently do. And
the exchange rate's pretty bad.
But I like drinking the mixers. I like the ginger beer. I found this sugar-free ginger beer. It's really good. But there's this other mixer, and I don't remember what it's called. But it's it's like lime and mint and cucumber, and it's wonderful.
Like a mule, some kind of mule.
Yeah, some kind of mule, but it's like lime and mint and cucumber, and it's seltzery and sweet. And I just pour it over ice, and I feel like I have a fancy cocktail.
There you go. Yeah, right? Cool.
So, okay. And it didn't. And I like to drink it out of a glass that you would maybe pour some fancy cocktail into.
You got a tumbler kind of thing, or
yeah,
more
a little maybe pour some scotch or bourbon into something a little on the rocks or something. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just making
one of those really big ice cubes.
I have the ability to do that. I don't know whatever happened to that.
I've got ice
should
molds
do
that are the Death Star that are for that.
Those are fun. Yeah. So I should do that. But here's the problem. Like I put too much ice in the glass, so I couldn't fit all the drink from the bottle in. So I brought the bottle over with me.
Oh, okay.
And there's a little table in between this couch things. So I sat it there, and at some point, and it was empty, but at some point, I bump it. It falls onto the tile floor.
Yee, tile.
And I think it was clunk, 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 didn't break. Like, thank you. I look up, like, thank you. Thank you, Jesus.
Theory working in your favor.
Thank you, Jesus. Well, I think, but also Sophie was down there, so it could have been that she actually broke the fall at the initial point. It might have hit her first and then hit
conked off of her head with it.
Yeah, for her butt. It was her butt. She got a lot of cushion to the butt, much like her dad. And so maybe she broke the fall. I don't know, but Michelle looked at me. I know what she's thinking. Like, and what she says is, "You are so lucky." But I know what she wanted to follow it with was because Jason would have killed you. That had broken. And I thought to myself in that moment, oh yeah, if this had happened to anybody else, I would have lost my mind.
Now, did this trigger any introspection, or did you just?
Oh, of course, immediately. I'm like, how do I get out of this? No, that's not what I'm saying. I was thinking,
how do I blame this on her?
No.
Well, if you hadn't distracted me.
If you bought bigger glasses.
Stupid tile.
I know. I wanted this tile anyway. Why do we have to live in this drafty old house?
Stinking gravity.
Have all these kids. It's a wonderful life.
I told him 9.8 meters per second squared was way too high.
So, yeah, I'm putting bubble wrap down there now. But this is
bubble time.
No, it occurred to me. I'm like, okay, this is. So what's the lesson here? Now the lesson, yes, there's a lesson to maybe I don't know, maybe
chill out a little.
Judge a little. Yeah. I don't know. Like, here's the thing: like when the same thing happens again and again, it's annoying. It's like, come on, guys, right? Because the real lesson here, I don't think I'm going to talk myself out of this. The real lesson here isn't to chill out. You see, no.
Oh,
the
no.
real lesson is don't bring the glass, don't bring the bottle over to the couch, and don't sit it close to the edge, Jason. What are you doing? Why don't put it there? I'm always moving glasses away from the edge constantly at other people's houses. Constantly. I'm like your mom or your stepmom, right? Like I'm moving the things.
Yeah. You putting them in the oven?
No. Moving them away so the dogs don't get them. I did it today. Michelle hands me the plate of chicken tenders, healthy, hormone-free chicken breast, I'm sure, chicken tender things, and she hands me this plate to take over to Henry. And I see the 2 plates of ours sitting on the stovetop waiting to be brought over to the table. And I see Sophie below, very aware of what's above her. And so I stood there. And I just stood there and waited to watch the dog not take an eye off of her until Michelle grabs the other 2 plates. I don't have to say, I'm just doing that, right? Just like I would move the bottle away from the plate away from the edge of the table. I'm just averting disaster wherever I can. Right? Including, I need to do it for myself too, because it was an amateur move, putting that bottle that close to the edge. Now, maybe the way I react to something maybe I could dial that down a little bit too. But I still feel like I'm right in my moral indignation. I think it's just the expression of the moral indignation that needs to maybe adjust itself.
Just the realization that nobody involved in this wanted this to happen in any way, shape, or form. And everyone already feels bad enough that anything that you lay on top of it is going to be overkill.
I mean, if they really felt bad, like if they clearly didn't feel bad enough last time. I mean, because I've used this line so many times with friends and family and coworkers, and I know that they enjoy it so much.
Oh.
But like, I know it's not malice, but it's still negligence. Like, it doesn't. Yes, it's not criminal. There was no intent. That's why we have manslaughter.
It's a weird way of putting that, but
Although that's criminal too. Anyway, but like, and if you do it again, and then again, you can't. At some point, you can't keep saying, "I didn't mean to do it. I realized that. Maybe we should just adjust." Like if I was to knock the glass off again, right? If that happened again, that's something wrong with me. There's something seriously wrong with me at that point, right?
you
Like
start evaluating your procedures and stuff.
what am I doing? Right. I know you do this. Like we have this conversation. How many times do you call yourself stupid in a day? Maybe never. For me, I'm like, what are you doing, Jason? Come on.
I don't
Get it
know that
together.
I necessarily do that, but
Well, maybe you should. I'll start doing it for you. Marcus,
just call me up randomly throughout the day.
what the heck
What are you doing, stupid?
What are you-
Oh, hi, Jason.
I know it's a problem. It's a problem because it's like I realize like oh, most people don't like being called an idiot. It's not a nice thing. But the first step in me not saying that word is actually not saying it to myself. It's such a normal word between me and myself and I. Jay, you idiot! What are you doing? What are you doing? Stupid idiot.
It doesn't translate so well when you start throwing it at other people.
Well, in the car, it's the worst is in the car. Like, what are you doing? Idiot.
Yeah, I get pretty
Who's this
critical
guy?
when I get behind the wheel.
I know everyone else in the world drives wrong.
Oh, they
Where
do.
did this person learn to drive? That's one of my favorite
What?
lines. Where did this person learn to drive? Who taught him? Drive like this idiot.
Always, there's a scene in Raising Arizona where H.I. McDonough, played by Nicolas Cage, has run into a convenience store and grabbed some Huggies and put a pantyhose thing over his head, and he's walking up to the front and he goes, "Wake up, son." It's like I use that "wake up, son" line all the time with people that aren't moving as quickly as I think that they should be behind the wheel.
See? And then, of course, when I'm the guy, it's all very justified.
Right. Or you just get indignant, like, okay, I'm going. Jeez.
I know. But I do feel bad. Like in those moments where you realize, like, oh no. When you get the beep because you weren't paying attention.
I was the guy.
light turns,
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. I was like, damn it, I was the guy.
Oh.
I hate the guy, and I was the guy.
I was the guy. And then what do you say? Like, I'm not usually the guy.
Yeah, there's no way you can plead your case.
I'm not. You don't
It's like,
understand.
I am never the guy.
I'm not usually the guy. I try with a little wave. I know.
I
I'm
don't
not
like the guy. I'm
try.
not usually the
It's not
guy.
me. I know. I'm totally with you. I'm totally with you in being appalled at me.
Right, yes.
I'm
Watch
so
this.
appalled
Beep,
at me.
beep. Yeah, that's for me. Beep, beep,
I
beep.
should be
What
in
do you
your
think
car.
of that?
Heck, you know what? Right.
self-beep.
Self-beep. That's literally what we need.
It has to be like a different horn so that everybody knows you're self-beeping. You know?
Like,
You go, beep,
Like-
my bad. Beep, my bad.
like the sound that when you lose on The Price is Right. Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Wow.
Yeah, that's exactly what it should be. I'm gonna self beep. You don't need the beep. I'm gonna self.
I got it.
I got you covered. Self beeping right now. Self beeping, people. Everybody. I
always think of-
recognize I was the problem.
All the different applications that I could use. One of those sort of New York Stock Exchange ticker light things that shows messages. If I had that on the back of my car, I've had so
I think
many
they make
possible. They need to if they don't, because
they do.
I don't know how
Yes.
fast you can create a message
Well, you need
for
a
that.
you need
but
a, you
need
need
it
like
quick.
a you
It
need
needs
like
to be
a
like
those little-
voice.
No. You need like little boxes, like hot buttons. They're just like 6 buttons pre-programmed for
you
certain
can do
messages, common messages.
But,
right?
you could, if you could do like,
sorry,
hey,
my
lady,
bad.
Put the,
Put the cell phone down.
Yeah. Just, do some sort of a strange echo device type command. That
I never understood the
display
people
blah.
who are driving and it's like they do the half thing. Like their phone must be on speaker, but they don't they don't realize
like
that the speaker
piece of pizza thing where they're
holding it. Yeah. Like in front of, like, why? Like, you can put it in the cup holder. It's going to work fine. Just lay it down. It's fine.
Why do you
don't actually need to hold it there.
You know what I think it is? I think it's reality TV shows. Because, on like Road Rules or on like whatever, if it's following people that are like Amazing Race, if they're going in cabs or something like that and they're talking on a phone to somebody.
Do they do that?
The camera crews want them to put it on speaker so the cameras will pick up both sides of the conversation, right? So it's got a practical use in that case. And people see that, and I think that they, like, I don't know if this is apocryphal or if it's really true, but apparently the trend of tucking in just the front of your shirt that was very popular back in like the O's or the aughts or whatever you call them. And you still see some people doing it today. They just
just tuck in the front.
Tuck in the front, right? That apparently that came from, I believe, Abercrombie and Fitch, where the dressers of the mannequins were told that they need to tuck in the front of the shirt. The style was to have the shirt untucked, but they tuck in the front of the shirt to show off the belt. And that was all it was for, is to show off the belt, because otherwise you wouldn't see it.
But then some people realized, they thought,
and then
this
people
is
were like, I'm going to dress like that. That must be the trend.
No, they're probably thinking, this is how I'm supposed to wear this, because
right,
it's on
exactly,
the mannequin.
exactly. Yes. That's the trend. I will start doing that, and that's when the front tuck was apparently born. Now, again, I don't know if that's urban legend or if that's real, but it sounds pretty plausible. So I think that's what's happening with the pizza thing. Is
pizza.
I meant to say piece of pizza, but pizza sounds better.
Pizza.
But yeah, where they're just holding it like a friggin' about to munch
I always felt like it was
pizza.
there was like the halfway. It was like the compromise. Like, I don't have it up to my ear, and so I'm not like on the phone. I'm using a hands-free device
with one of my hands.
With one of my hands.
Yeah, it's like you'd be using the same number of hands if you put it up to your ear.
At the same time, and I know there's comedians who have belabored this point, like Oh yeah, like,
this is tight fives
the
material
whole,
right here,
right? Like up to my ear versus like. My friend Jeff has said this for years. He's like, well, I don't understand. Like, you can't tell me that it's any more dangerous to be holding the phone up to my head and like eating a piece of pizza. Like, to your point,
right?
Like,
yeah.
Like, I'm still using a hand.
Right. One of my hands is involved in this.
Right. So. Remember, whatever happened to the cup of soup that you could drink / eat in the car? That was great.
Like
whatever
soup that came
that?
in a.
It was soup, like Campbell's soup, for example, like tomato soup.
Yeah,
and it was in a can though that was insulated, like cushiony stuff.
Oh yeah,
and
kind of foamy feeling.
Yeah, and it would fit in a cup holder. Like, it was shaped to conform with your hand, and you would heat it up, and then you would take, of course, the metal lid off, and you would heat it up, and then you put the plastic lid on it.
Right.
That was like had the little drink notch.
Yeah.
And you could drink your soup while you're driving. Mm-hmm. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah.
It went away.
I don't know what happened with that. Microwavable soups in those containers, though, always kind of felt like I was eating space food or something. And not like in a good way. It always felt like,
oh, really?
This is probably, I don't know how much of this is actually food and how much of it is like a space age polymer of some kind.
Well, the foam's on the outside, not the inside.
Well, I don't know that, do I?
You're not drinking, no.
and there's that weird metal that you can put in the microwave. I don't understand about that.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, I know.
But yeah,
that's true.
Did you ever, when you were a kid,
like pizza, the pizzas? Like the pizza. The single pizzas, when they tell you to put the little, it's like a metal disc, and you set the pizza on the metal disc, right? But don't you worry, like it has to cover the entire disc, because if it doesn't,
it's going to explode
the microwave.
Yeah.
So we were saying,
but yeah, when you were a kid, taking lunch to school, did your mom ever send you soup in a thermos, and you thought it was
once.
like milk or something?
Okay. When I was a kid, I think my mother would sometimes make chocolate milk.
Yes.
Right.
That was what I was doing. Yeah.
But sometimes it was a disappointment. Like sometimes either it wasn't chocolatey enough.
Yeah.
Or the chocolate that had crystallized, or like it hadn't fully been mixed, and so you get the little chocolate turds at the bottom, like the little chocolate, the chocolate turds that like that it's like a rabbit turd, a little like rabbit turd, but they're chocolatey. They're delicious.
Delicious.
Maybe rabbit turds are delicious too. I don't know, but then sometimes it's just milk.
Yeah. Well, see, that was the thing with like not chocolate milk is like it's neither. It's like you would almost rather have plain milk.
Have milk, just milk. Yeah, don't.
Somehow, disappointing levels of chocolate make the milk worse. There's like a weird dip.
A tipping point. There's a tipping point to it. Yeah, there's
goes between no chocolate, not enough chocolate, and a good amount of chocolate. And in fact, I think it continues to go all the way up, because at no point is there too much chocolate, as far as I'm concerned.
I would argue, you just put a bar of chocolate in there, it's fine.
Yeah,
I would argue
it becomes
that
all chocolate, I'm good with that.
Right.
If it approaches infinite chocolate.
Sweetener is like that.
Yeah.
Like if you're having tea or coffee and you take sweetener in it, like if it's like coffee, if you take sweetener in your coffee, I don't know whether you do or not, but if you take sweetener in your coffee, then it has to be the right amount. If it's not, you're actually better off with it black. And I feel the same way about tea. Like I'd rather just have the tea unsweetened than to not have enough. Like if you just have like some of it, just a little bit. Like no.
It's enough to take away the sort of, if you're looking for a pure tea flavor, like no sweetener, it's enough to kind of dampen that, but it's not enough to give you what you're giving that up for, which is the sweetness of the sweetened tea.
Right. Yeah. Oh, by the way, what is it about iced tea? Like restaurants, and I'm not a sweet tea person. I know a whole bunch of people in the South are just like
very much a sweet tea person.
I know, and so
you're from Baltimore, so yeah.
No, I like sweet tea. When I was a kid, that's all I drank was sweet tea.
Oh, really?
But in my adult, concerned about diabetes period of life, I stopped drinking sweet tea, and I like regular tea. I like unsweetened tea. Mm-hmm. Now, in a restaurant, I would say it's a 50-50 chance, maybe even higher, that if I go to a restaurant and ask for unsweetened tea, right, and they'll have it, they almost always have it universally. The tea that they bring me, it's like, when you leave your clothes in the washer too long, and then you dry them, and they just have that smell about them. You're like, yeah.
It smells like Pirates of the Caribbean, but not in a good way.
I gotta rewash this. I think this is not good. Like this is what people in the 19th century must have smelled like all the time. Like I'm not like this is not good, right?
Something's growing in my clothes.
Right. I think that like there's tea that's like that. Like people like does no one else order tea or something? Tea? It's like yesterday's.
Oh, like you feel like it's been there for a while.
It just doesn't taste right, and I can't be the only person who thinks this. Like.
I don't order tea much in a restaurant.
Sometimes they're nice places, and you get it, and you're like, really? Why? Your tea sucks. Yeah. What is it? I don't understand.
And also, if you order like sweet, I think it's hilarious that you have to order unsweet tea. Like sweet tea is almost a default, which I think is great. I think
anywhere Mason-Dixon line south, you have to be careful and
but
say.
Considering we're in Florida, but but I still say even around here, more places don't have sweet tea than do.
Correct.
Of course.
Because Florida isn't really the South.
Yeah, part of it is, but the other part definitely not. The other thing is that whenever you do go to a place that does not have sweet tea and you say, do you have sweet tea? They say, well, we can bring you some sweetener. And
that's not gonna work.
two completely different drinks.
That's not going to work out either.
Having created sweet tea and sweetened it as part of the brewing process, which is as you should do it, is a very different drink than the iced tea with a
sugar suspension.
Right, like it's more like
What's different?
More of a sugary sediment at the bottom, like because it's
eventually,
cold.
Because you don't understand. Like one process dissolves the sugar.
Right,
the sugar actually bonds with the drink. It doesn't matter how long you let it sit. At that point, how warm you let it get, it's still going to be sweet tea.
Right. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. It will not recondense into sediment
until the water evaporates.
Right.
And the sugar
you gotta boil it
recrystallizes
completely away, and then you'll also have tea remnants in there too, or tea sediment.
Right. Wonder if that tea curd, sugary tea curd. Yeah, it could be great.
That sounds like the name of something, but I can't come up with anything that it's the name of. I am at a loss on that one.
What is this? Sugary tea curd. I think it's sugary tea curd. I'll take sugary tea curd for $500.
This
so I think
in Orlando.
I'll take inadvertent curds for $200.
Inadvertent curds. Inadvertent.
So it occurs to me. Okay.
No way.
So way.
Curds and way.
Curds are good.
So anyway,
now. But yeah, there's a difference between dissolving and suspending.
Yeah.
If you put the sugar into a cold beverage, it is going to at best. What you have to do is you have to basically constantly stir, but you're still just getting
erode almost in order for it to dissolve.
You're still getting the granule, like when you drink tea.
Right, it's
that has
crunchy
had
and
sugar.
gritty.
It's just right.
And then some of the sugar has collected on the tops of the ice cubes. And
that's the worst.
Yeah,
they're bergs. They're like bergs of sugary ice.
Sugar bergs.
You know, it was like Procter and Gamble had come up with Sugar Smacks, right? Just after Sugar Bergs had been created post.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work out.
And somehow the Smacks.
Sugar Bergs.
Yeah. And then they went and then they decided to change them to it was Super Sugar Crisp and then it was Super Golden Crisp because we didn't want to play up the fact that we were sugaring our children. But that, by the way, Sugar Crisp cereal is some good stuff.
Wait, Sugar Crisp.
I love Sugar Crisp.
Wait.
Super Sugar Crisp.
Wait. Sugar Smacks is different than Sugar.
Well, there's Sugar Smacks. It's Honey Smacks, right? Isn't it Honey Smacks?
Oh God, hold on.
Because that's the Diggum ones, right? With the frog. But pretty much the same thing that the
Honey
other company.
Smacks, you're right. Honey Smacks.
Is
Sugar. There's Kellogg's.
Super Golden Crisp.
No, it is Kellogg's Sugar Smacks. That has a frog. And he
says, and then they changed it to Honey Smacks.
It says Diggum. And it says Diggum. It was 1977 as this one.
Yeah. I think they changed it over to Honey Smacks because of the same reason they changed Super Sugar Crisp to Super Golden Crisp.
Oh, because they don't want people to... Because honey's okay,
because the word
even though
sugar
it's full of
is not conducive to...
The thing is, did you like Sugar Smacks?
Massively unhealthy. Oh, yeah. I love both of those cereals because they were the exact same.
Sugar Smacks is the worst in the world.
I could eat that stuff right now.
No, Sugar Smacks, it's instant soggy. It becomes
that's
soggy
where the
immediately.
Little injector spoon comes into play.
But it doesn't you didn't have that as a kid. You just had
you didn't.
So it's instantly soggy and it was like, was it puffed rice basically?
Yeah, puffed rice
it's
with
terrible. It's like foam. It's like eating sugary, like wet sugary foam.
That's one of the first cereals I discovered you could actually eat without milk.
Yeah, but then it's all like sugary on your fingers. Like it's like
that's true. That's true. It's like eating like
the worst. It's the
eating
worst.
a lot of like caramel corn or something.
You can't. I hated Sugar Smacks.
I love Sugar Smacks. I still love them.
So weird. You were the kid. I wondered, like, who buys these?
It wasn't me. It was my mother. But
wow, Sugar Smacks.
And it's the reason.
So was that your favorite
really
cereal as a kid?
Enjoyed building with Legos.
Was that your favorite cereal?
This whole city all of a sudden out of nowhere.
Was that your favorite cereal?
I don't know if it was my favorite. I think it's pretty close. That one was good. I still to this day love Cocoa Pebbles.
Cocoa Pebbles is for people who haven't had Cocoa. We've talked about this.
Oh yeah.
Cocoa Pebbles is amazing, and if you haven't, and I don't think you have done this still, probably.
I've done it. I know what you're about to say, but I've done it in a weird way.
You need to use warm milk.
Yeah, and I haven't warmed up the milk, but I have taken a bowl out of the dishwasher during that super duper heated segment to where the bowl is super duper hot.
And then you pour the milk
Put it in there, and the milk warms up, and and it is good. It is really good. But I haven't just straight up warmed up the milk.
Warm the milk. It's so good.
I tell you, a lot of my opinions of cereals back in the late 70s greatly depended on how much of a tie-in to Star Wars they had.
Oh my God, like the time I had my mother buy the box of Cheerios because it had the Star Wars poster in it or something.
Yeah, that's
and
exactly
she said
the
this.
kind
She
of...
looked at me straight. She's like, "Gee, you're not going to eat these." I'm like, "Yes, I will. I want this. Cause come on, I will. I want the poster that's all folded up inside. Yes." And I didn't eat it.
The first time you encounter the adult cereal when you're a kid, you're like, you can't process this. It's like, what is this? Why would anybody want this?
Thing is, I think Michelle ate Cheerios as a kid. Like, I think in their family they ate Cheerios, like the regular
plain old Cheerios.
Cheerios, like it was like prison.
So I remember when Honey Nut came out. That was like 82
Honey Nut Cheerios
or 3.
Honey Nut Cheerios.
That's good
Honey
stuff.
Nut Cheerios is like is Honey Nut Cheerios is to Cheerios how freedom is to prisons.
Very true. I think my grandmother had that crocheted on a pillow.
Like Honey Nut Cheerios is to Cheerios like Walt Disney World is to the dentist. Like it's
extremely agree.
And
Worlds
why people
apart.
would voluntarily eat
presumably just this tiny change, just this little bit of a extra thing, and it's a world of difference. I don't even know where nut comes from. I don't taste any nuts in there. There's no nuts, but the honey part is exactly what those things need. They need something because without the
and those you can eat by the handful too. I did that in college.
Yeah.
I would pour absolutely stuff. So Cocoa Pebbles are good. Cocoa Puffs, no good.
Yeah, I'm not a puff fan. I'm not a fan of any of the crunchy sphere kind of cereals. Like,
how about Reese's Puffs?
Well, okay, the peanut butter version, like also peanut butter crunch from the Captain Crunch family.
Oh, but that you can't eat that. I love
peanut butter crunch.
I feel like if I was, God forbid, if I'm ever in a last meal situation, like I feel like that's when I'm going to order like Captain Crunch.
Because the regular Captain Crunch, I agree with you.
Because it won't matter if my mouth's all torn to pieces.
Right.
Yeah,
but the peanut butter crunch is very much a puff. Like it's like a Cocoa Puff, just peanut butter, and they're it's not the bowl of Ninja Stars that Captain Crunch,
which it takes us back to what, episode 3 or something.
4 or something. Yeah. But
if you want to hear a lot more about our feelings,
we've broached this subject before. Any of you guys that are new, and if you are new, God bless you. But yeah, I tell you the other thing, and it does come with a bit of a masochistic Captain Crunch flair, but the Captain Crunch with Crunch Berries. Now
those are good.
That was really good.
You're like, you know what?
How do we plus for Captain fruit Crunch? Cereals, and that one was very, very good. That and Fruity Pebbles are both fantastic.
Fruity Pebbles, which, by the way, I think we've talked about this before, but I'm going to say it again. Fruity Pebbles is what you smell when you enter. So if you're on Flight of Passage and after you escape the near death from that giant flying creature that tries to get you, and you go into the cave. As the things begin to glow and float up and everything, and there's a smell,
Yeah.
Fruity Pebbles.
Fruity Pebbles. Oh, yeah.
It's Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah,
and
the
now that
Na'vi
people aren't,
know what's up.
And now that you couldn't smell this when we were in the masked period, you couldn't smell this, but now we're all unmasked. Not all, but some people, like whoever wants to be unmasked can be, and you can smell it again.
You smell the Fruity Pebbles are back.
Fruity Pebbles are back.
And
Fruity Pebbles.
The ramen place that we love, Domu in Dr. Phillips. They do that. They do the weird artisanal stuff, and then ube is one of their flavors of that soft serve ice cream, which is a Japanese fruit, and they sprinkle Fruity Pebbles.
Come on, seriously?
Yeah, they do. And that's awesome.
What's that? Wait, there's a donut place that does that. There's a donut place.
Was it this Everglazed over here?
Yeah, I think it's. Well, no, I don't know if it's Everglazed or that other place in Winter Garden.
On everything.
It's a place in Winter Garden or Coe. There's a donut place where you can get. They'll put Fruity Pebbles in it. Yeah, maybe it was Everglazed that does it. I can't remember.
I'm sure that the super duper donut place is kind of a thing now. So.
Count Chocula, I was not a fan of.
Yeah. That was very much Cocoa Puffs, if I remember correctly. Now, did it have the freeze dried marshmallows in it?
It did, but
Surely.
it does. But the chocolate, like something about the cereal, the grain, it wasn't sweet enough or something. It was like too. I'm sure the Brits would love that kind of thing. It'd be like, oh, this is delicious chocolate. Mm-hmm. None of your waxy Hershey stuff.
I'll take my peanut butter eggs. Thank you very much.
But this is. But I think. But what about Lucky Charms? I feel like Lucky Charms.
See, I love Lucky Charms.
I feel like that was my first like. Oh, I'm growing up now, because I think there was a period where I was so resistant or opposed to the non-charm part, like the.
I see the oat brand
because it's not a sweetened cereal entirely.
Right, it depends entirely on the marshmallows to sweeten it. Yeah.
If you get a spoonful without the marsh, and if you eat Lucky Charms, you are actively eating. You are not. And this is none of this passive baloney. You're not like reading or watching television while you're eating this. I mean, you can be, but you're looking.
Strategy.
You have to look at every spoonful.
Absolutely.
If you end up with a spoonful of just
lucky and no charm.
Right. You're not lucky. That's the
irony of it, right? That's the sort of devil's deal with the whole leprechaun thing.
Really? Chasing the rainbows.
I thought you were going to be lucky.
Charm. The magic tea, delicious, unless they're not.
There's no magic in that bite, sonny boy. And I could never figure out what they were supposed to be. They were like arrowheads, and it looks like they tried to make those shapes as well. And it was like,
what was that?
I don't know what the heck these are.
I never really paid attention to that. Mr. T cereal.
That was basically Captain Crunch, if I remember correctly.
I think so, right? It was like, I'm going to tear up your mouth.
But
like
in teas. It's like the C-3PO C-3PO cereal. Yeah.
Oh my God, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. It was just 8s that were
shaped like his face, like his. Right?
Well, yeah. Supposedly it was, I guess, his eyes. I think it was a pretty weak attempt.
Do you think we can still get that?
I'm sure eBay has some.
Come on,
they have all kinds of crazy stuff.
You think it's still safe to eat?
This stuff is pretty much all preservative, so I'm going to say yeah.
How do you think they spelled C-3PO, with an O or a 0?
Surely an O.
No.
I think 3 is the only number in that. No, do they spell it out like SEETHREEPIO like they do in like the novels and stuff? And the action figure cards.
1984's Kellogg's Star Wars C-3PO cereal box, scarce, very good shape, but is it a cereal in it?
No, cereal in it, yeah. But yeah, those cereal were basically Captain
empty. Crunches. These are all empty.
Yeah. You found one?
No, they have the one that has the 1984 Kellogg's C-3PO's Luke Skywalker face mask cereal box.
The face
mask. The one where you cut it out of the box and you had
you look like a serial killer.
And it didn't work.
No.
Because the hole wasn't big enough for your eyes to see through. But it was so cool. I totally had that. I like how it says pre-owned. Like, really?
Yeah, this isn't straight from the manufacturer. Well, dang.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, that's weird that's one of those totally came out as a tie-in to a movie at the time, but that one in particular people remember. And that's from 84, which was weird because Jedi came out in 83.
Skywalker.
So
it's not the right Skywalker either. Yeah, it's the old Skywalker face.
Yeah. So
it's not even the correct one.
It's weird. But,
now there's Kellogg's cornflakes with the R2D2 and C3PO. But no, they have
cornflakes.
So,
see, no.
Yeah,
Frosted Flakes. Okay, we can talk.
Frosted Flakes. Also, Frosted Flakes would get soggy quickly, but for some reason, they were like, it was disappointing, but not a deal breaker.
Right, and it was a weird thing where it's it kind of reminds me of the Clark Griswold thing from Christmas Vacation, where he's working on a non-nutritive cereal varnish. It was like Frosted Flakes will stay a certain crunchiness for a weirdly, like not a long time, because you did have to eat fast, but they would stay that same crunchiness up to a certain point, and then it dropped off like a friggin' cliff.
It's like popcorn.
It's weird.
It's like popcorn. It's like the popcorn's like we're gonna heat it up. We're gonna heat it up. We're gonna heat it up. We're gonna nothing. Right, and then like if you let it go just 5 seconds too long. Yep. Now I don't understand. Why is it? Okay, explain this to me. When you get close to the end of popping a bag of popcorn,
yeah,
right. There's like the last 10 to 15 seconds of terror, right? That you're like, okay.
Yes.
Nah, please don't be the time that it burns, right? So you get to this point and you're listening for the pops to like not completely stop, but slow down, right?
Okay, so it's like now
pop, pop, pop,
right,
pop, 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 and then you're like, okay, I gotta stop, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay. If you let that go for just like 3 or 4 more seconds, it's all burnt to a crisp.
Yeah.
Right.
And
however, why is it from the time that the first one popped to
why
all
didn't
the way
that
at
one
that
burn?
End? Why did that one burn?
Yes.
Do you know what
and
kind
how
of voodoo
do I
is that
have
in that
burned
bag?
popcorn and unpopped popcorn in the same bag?
That's really stubborn kernels. Really, like you have no business being picked.
I think
for
my
popcorn.
grandfather served under some of those kernels, but it just doesn't make any dadgum sense. And it's like chicken. It's like cooking chicken. It's like, all right, it's raw. It'll kill you. It'll kill you. It'll kill you. It'll kill you. It's perfect. It's overcooked. It's overcooked. It's overcooked. I mean, it's like you've got to pull it out in the span of like 5 seconds. Otherwise, it's dry as a bone. It's ridiculous. I don't understand it.
But you know what I'm saying? Like it'll start popping. You get the like early pops, right? There's the early pops that kind of, it's almost like a bell curve, right? But I think it's like, it's a little skewed to the left, and you get the like pop, 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 pop. Pop, 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 right? And then.
In case you've never popped popcorn before, what Jason is doing is exactly how that works, how that sounds.
Pop music, pop, pop, pop.
Everybody talking about.
And you're welcome. We're here all week, folks.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Even when you don't want us to be, we're still here.
Try the veal beer.
I just don't understand that.
Yeah, that's like which one is burned? Like I'd like to, like I don't know how you would do this, but individually number all the popcorn so that you can still track, the life cycle of the popcorn kernels. And is the one that burns later, is the first one to burn the first one that popped?
Probably.
And that it takes that amount of time for it to burn. And so every one of them has a timeline that shifts a little bit forward because it popped later.
Right.
And
imagine that guy's like, okay, stop. Come on now. Come on. Stop. I've been done. I'm just sitting around waiting for you guys. I'm done. Gonna burn. We're gonna burn.
I don't think I should be punished for having my crap together.
He's gonna blame it on me. It's not even my fault.
So you were the guys. Some of you are still not popped. Will you get with the program? What's the matter with you?
We're all gonna get thrown away.
Do you need fire? Like what?
Now we're in the midst. Now we're in the middle of a. Oh my gosh! Now I can't remember his name. Forget it. God, Jason,
Idiot.
Director Woody Allen. We're in the middle of a Woody Allen film now. The colonels are all dressed like colonels.
These guys aren't even popped yet.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Everybody's looking at me. I don't even know if that's
Did you ever? There's the Woody Allen film. Everything in the world. Everything in the world you want. Wait, everything you want to know about sex, but afraid about sex.
What we're afraid to ask.
Afraid to ask. Yeah, that movie. Remember that scene? You know what the scene I'm talking about.
I don't. You know what? I have not.
I would just say it's the climax of the movie. That's all I'm going to say. It's the climax of the movie. Yeah.
That's double entendre.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I told you about the French. Don't talk about that.
No, yes.
So
double entrand.
That's a fun movie. But I'm thinking, here's the thing. As we're talking about cereal, I'm sitting here thinking, you know what? I need more cereal in my life. I feel like I should have one day a week or something where I'm allowed I allow myself to have cereal, right? The problem is this. As I think about it, and I remember, because I've had those days in the past where I've said, you know what I'm going to have? I'll give you an example. When I needed to prove to myself and to others that it was indeed Fruity Pebbles that we were smelling, I bought a box of Fruity Pebbles.
Mm-hmm. Did you take it into the park?
No.
So you'd like let them smell on the ride and then be like, now,
it's like,
smell that.
It. And I Kramer it, like I'm like, and then
tell me that's not the same smell.
Yeah. Sprinkling around all the people.
Flight of Pebbles. That's what this is.
Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to never come back.
Hey, we're allowed, buddy.
So, no, but I've when I've had that, like at some point I was like, I'm going to eat these Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah.
I have trouble with the restraint.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
I feel like I have the bowl of cereal.
I'm not, yeah.
I have the bowl of cereal, and then I'm like, no, I feel like it really wasn't completely satisfying.
And I've got a bowl of milk here.
It's still.
I could just reload.
So I'm just going to put a little more in there. And then you go back and you're like, oh, you know what? This needs a little more milk. And then you go and you pour a little more milk in it.
And then you're like, well, I'm not going to leave it with just like a fifth of the box. Nobody's going to eat 3/4 of a bowl of cereal. And you end up eating the whole thing. It's kind of like the Oreo sleeve.
And so, but that's not good for you. Because I'm the kind of person.
Whole box, that's not the serving size. And it's not the serving size for a reason.
Like if I have a bagel even for breakfast, if I which I don't do really anymore, but if I I don't know, where I have a bagel, the sugar rush that I get from that, like the glucose hit that I get from, I like feel like, whoa, like flushed. I think, and I feel like flushed. I feel like I have a rush. It's like a rush. It's like sugar rush.
Everybody at work's like, Jason got bageled this morning. Oh,
but the problem is that because then you just like it crash like within like 30 minutes or just I need a nap.
Yeah, ain't nothing like the bagel crash.
It's bad. It's bad. So, but I feel like I need like. I feel like I don't think it's like a deathbed thing. Like I don't think that like on my deathbed I'm going to think, I really wish I had eaten more cereal, right? But if someone brings it up, then I think I might be disappointed. You know what I mean? I feel like I'll be like, you know what? Now you say something about it. Yeah, like now that you mentioned it, I think I really should have eaten more cereal. Like, why did?
Now that you're dying, what do you feel about your cereal consumption over your life?
Yeah, I've done enough.
Well, I didn't until just now, but thanks for the regrets that I'm going to take with me into the afterlife now.
Right, and oh man,
you got a Lucky Charm on you, buddy?
I don't want to bring us down or anything, but it does occur to me on a regular basis that everything that I do is potentially the last thing that I'll do it. Like the last time that I'll do it. Like, man.
But you didn't want to bring everything down.
Like I just had this lemon and ginger tea. No, I've got a lot left over here.
Well, that's what you think.
But you never. Like it's like that shampoo. It's like they just stopped selling. They just stopped making the shampoo.
Yeah.
And you can't get it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know when I used I didn't know it was going to be the last time ever.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
At some point, everything is the last time ever.
So gather ye honey nut while ye may.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I
say.
feel like because of that, I should allow myself to eat cereal every once in a while. I think that.
Yeah, I think that's a certain carpe diem aspect of that.
Right. But how do I just eat one bowl? That's the problem. And how do I pick?
Maybe you're ironically, maybe you're at the perfect age for the tiny box samplers.
Well, I thought about that, but the problem is you always get that one, like the cornflakes, like the one with the rooster on it, or whatever that was. Like,
yeah, it's like the QVC of the cereal box variety.
What's the rooster doing on there?
Yeah, like why do I want this? And in order to get the little tiny Frosted Flakes, the little tiny Lucky Charms, and the little tiny Cocoa Pebbles, I got to get Mueslix. What the hell is this?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Well, you know what's good. Was it Mueslix? It's good. No. Oh, no. It's the other thing. The little square things. We talked about this.
Cracklin' Oat Bran?
Cracklin' Oat Bran.
Yeah. It kind of looks like dog food, but it's really good.
Oh, it's like, it's so good.
It's like granola bar the cereal.
Basically, if you've listened to episode 4, you can just stop now. Like or whatever episode it was. I don't know.
This is what they call a reprise.
I feel like we're doing it better. We're doing it like more justice this time.
And we're bringing a lot more existential crisis into it. Which we were sorely lacking the first time.
We weren't nearly dark enough then.
If I die, will I have felt like I ate enough cereal? Kellogg's. So on Amazon, Kellogg's breakfast cereal variety pack, kids breakfast. Forget that. Why do they have to say that? Kids breakfast. that's judgmental.
No, they're shaming me. Don't cereal shame me or age shame or whatever you want to call it.
That's ridiculous.
But see, here's the thing. Okay, this is stupid. This Kellogg's variety. Okay.
Yeah.
Top row, Frosted Mini Wheats. Like, I enjoy Frosted Mini Wheats.
Yeah, but they're my sort of adult cereal.
How many? What are you gonna pick? Like 6 in there? Like
it's
even
the
Mini Wheats
that's true too. Isn't that weird though? The lifestyle or the life cycle, I guess, of the mini wheat or the wheat or whatever. Because like back in the day, you had shredded wheat, which came in that big old honking block, and you're supposed to crunch it, flubbity it up. Now I remember when Frosted Mini Wheats first came out, and they were big. They were like this big.
Yeah.
And then it was bite-sized Frosted Mini Wheats, which is what we have now that we consider Frosted Mini Wheats.
Do they even make the regular size Frosted?
Not anymore. And that was in a red box. And then the bite-sized one was in the yellow box like they're in now, or the sort of yellowy, orangey
golden
box.
Or something. Yeah.
And then they've got what's called...
How do you remember the way it looks? How do you remember the color of that?
I just remember, I don't know why. Because I always liked it. I always liked that kind of, that sort of, the sugar... I don't know what to call that. It's not a glazing. It's like a bizarre...
and that one was a nice, like, borderline disgusting, but somehow, I don't know. Like when it would flocked. When it would get soft, the milk would soften it. Like to eat it unsoftened you're an animal. You're an animal.
Right.
Like the big, I'm talking about the big ones, not the little ones. The little ones, those are good snacky foods, right? But I'm talking the big ones. If you ate one of those big ones dry, I mean, that's just dry. Come on, what are you doing? Right?
Yeah, and you need like a whole glass of water after that, and the water is like unpleasant because it has now become because there's still a lot of cereal in it because you can't get it out of there because it's so and then the water hits it, and it's like
sugar water. You're drinking
the
sugar
worst. Water. It's like if you can imagine a symphony made up entirely of people playing third grade recorders, and it's just like this cacophony of garbage in your mouth. It's just like, wow.
I feel like I know we would need to do the Starch Madness thing, but I feel like maybe we should have a cereal version. Like I feel like
it's a lot of starch in cereal.
I feel like
it could be
like this. How has this not been done? Like I feel like it probably has been done. Actually, I'm sure it's been done, but
but not the way that we would do it.
No, that's true. So next to the mini wheats is Fruit Loops, which again,
the Loops they're okay. They're okay.
They're better dry. They get
that's true.
I
tell you what's better
soggy,
than the Fruit Loops.
You can't.
That's
eat them
very
soggy.
close in that Fruit Loop family is the Apple Jacks. Apple Jacks.
That was right. That's right next door. It's the neighbor. The neighbor of the Fruit Loops is Apple Jacks.
Definitely
Apple Jacks, not bad.
Better.
I haven't had Apple Jacks forever. That's one of those cereals where if I was at a friend's house and they said, "Hey, you want some Apple Jacks?" We're like, "Oh yeah, I'll have some Apple Jacks." But I never asked my mom to buy it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a top of mind
Nothing wrong
cereal.
with it, and you liked it when you had it.
Yeah,
it was just
fine,
never
but
something you
never
thought of when you were thinking up your. What
you feel bad about that? It's like the.
It's still good.
Pops.
Like Corn Pops.
Yeah. That was terrible.
I don't know whose idea that was.
I remember we'd eaten those, and they would like
those are
float
soggy
no matter
before
what.
you even put the milk on them.
They float no matter what. Like they would just like somehow
and
even
they're like squishy, like even,
eventually they become they collapse upon themselves.
Like even in the box, there's something squishy about them. Like they're not crunchy. I don't know what that is. They're almost like gummy. I don't know. Corn Pops.
And then there's Frosted Flakes. Then there's Frosted Flakes front row.
Good, solid classic.
God, like I can taste it right now. I can totally taste not tilting that bowl back and drinking the milk.
The milk,
the residual milk, and then you get the couple little couple little flakes that are left in there. Like, oh,
yeah, good stuff.
God, that was good stuff.
That's one I can definitely eat a whole box if I'm not careful.
God, that's healthy.
Yeah. That flake, very healthy.
Raisin Bran, which
you already know my opinion on Raisin Bran.
Yeah, I know. Rice Krispies.
First word.
Rice Krispies as a plain cereal. If you didn't sprinkle sugar on those Rice Krispies, you're a communist. You're a communist. You're a communist.
Of all of the quote-unquote adult cereals that need a sprinkling of sugar, Rice Krispies is the best. And Cheerios is probably the worst.
The problem is that they disguise it to look like it's a kid's cereal. Like they have these little
there's like a weird
elves or something on there, and they're like
mascots and stuff. Yeah.
Now
it's weird.
There was a point in my life, I think it was like late teenage years or early. Oh, wait a second. Oh, it's all coming back to me now. Mm-hmm. Do you remember when Special K? I like Special K. Do you remember when Special K put the little sliced dehydrated strawberries?
Oh yeah,
in there.
Yeah,
did they still do that?
Fairly recently, yeah.
No, not recently. I was like 20 years old.
Well, I mean, like I've seen it recently. Yeah, I think they still do it. Like
that was weird, but also kind of delicious. Yeah, but I remember the first time I sliced fruit into my cereal, like on my own. I think I felt so grown up, like little banana, like a little banana in there.
Is exactly what
or a strawberry. If you have strawberry, if they're like sufficiently sweet strawberries, like you can cut those and pop those in.
Because you always see it in the commercial. They always have the pieces of banana just fall into it in slow motion.
Yeah, it does taste good, and that's what you need. You Rice Krispies need
especially with something like Rice Krispies. Yeah,
something.
You want to be slicing bananas up in your Lucky Charms.
But I feel like, the thing is, like I'd get this variety pack, and that Raisin Bran's not getting eaten.
No, it is not.
Like the Rice Krispies definitely are not getting eaten. The Pops they're just gonna rot in there.
You know what they have?
And the Fruit Loops are probably not gonna get eaten.
That I miss dearly is they had frosted bran flakes. Like I like the taste of the bran if it's sweet, the bran flakes, And the Frosted brand flakes were like right up my alley. It was like they had Frosted Flakes, which are Frosted Corn Flakes, and then they had a frosted version of Bran Flakes, and that was really good. But then they discontinued it. I guess I was the only one that thought they were good.
Bran Flakes.
Yeah, I like Bran Flakes. I think they taste.
Did you know that Amazon has their own private label cereal?
I did not know that.
So this looks like this must be Captain Crunch, like berry, Captain Berry, whatever that's called. They call it Happy Belly Big Berry Crunch cereal. I think Happy Belly is all their cereal. Their Happy Belly brand, yeah. And it's got a little Amazon smile thing on there.
About that. Happy Belly
and Happy Belly Big Berry Crunch cereal.
Big Berry Crunch cereal. Happy Belly Big Berry Crunch cereal. Doesn't exactly.
Then they have Honey Nut Toasted Oats. Then they have Frosted Corn Flakes cereal.
Frosted. This is like that. This is like G.I. Johnson that like your grandmother would get you.
Then they have Fruit Rings.
Fruit Rings.
Yeah. Fruit Rings.
And Lucky Objects.
Good Balance cereal. Hold on. Strawberry Good Balance. I think this is like the Strawberry Special K.
Yeah.
Yeah, Strawberry
Good Balance
cereal.
I think I went to junior high school with her.
I didn't know they had it. Did you know that they had this?
I had no idea that Amazon had their own sort of great value brand.
Oh, yeah. Visit the Happy Belly store.
I will not. Thank you.
Oh, they have other things under the Happy Belly.
I'm sure.
Tomato basil
Pop-Tart versions. Oh, the whole shebang is Happy Belly.
Chips and yeah. Lots of Happy Bellies here.
Yeah.
Happy Belly pumpkin, canned pumpkin. Nothing makes your belly happier than a canned pumpkin.
Hey,
that's what I always say.
If my pumpkin isn't cylindrical, I don't want it. My belly is very angry at non-cylindrical pumpkin.
But I can't find the cereal on here. There's dairy, there's nuts, there's coffee. But why can't I find the cereal? Oh, it's under breakfast. Oh, okay. It's a whole. Wow, there's a maple and brown. It's just oatmeal.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm done with that. You bore me. You bore me.
Yeah, you got a bored belly.
Happy belly. Bored belly. Happy bored belly. Bored bellies are not happy bellies.
No, we all know that.
Have you started watching 1883?
I have not. I have actually started watching Arcane.
I'm on the pen. Well, that's Arcane.
Have you heard of the Arcane? It's on Netflix. I have
heard of the word Arcane. I have. Well,
it's a series on Netflix, and it's animated, and it's apparently based on a video game that I'm not familiar with.
You lost me at animated.
No, it's good. It is pretty darn good. It's kind of takes place in sort of a steampunky world, and it's really pretty cool. I have to admit, I like it a lot.
Well, maybe I have so much to watch. Like I have to watch.
Yeah, there's a lot of junk out there.
There's so many things. So many things. There's so much. There's a lot of junk out there. You better get started.
Yeah, man. It's not that I want to watch a lot of TV. I have to. There's so much.
You have to.
I'm behind. I'm behind on the TV.
Don't get behind the TV.
No, you can't see it back there.